I still remember the sound of the paper crinkling beneath me as I sat on that exam table. The room smelled faintly of disinfectant. Quiet, calm, ordinary. This was supposed to be a routine appointment. I wasn't sick. I wasn't dizzy. I walked every morning. I felt fine. The nurse wrapped the cuff around my arm, pressed a button, and smiled. "Looks okay," she said. I relaxed. But when my doctor walked in and glanced at the numbers, something changed. He didn't smile. He didn't rush. He just stared at the screen a second longer than usual. Then he said something I wasn't prepared to hear. "You're watching the wrong number." That sentence landed harder than any diagnosis ever had, because like most people over 60, I thought I knew blood pressure. You look at the bottom number. If it's under control, you're safe. That's what I believed. My bottom number was fine, but my doctor leaned back in his chair and said quietly, "It's the top number that worries me." In that moment, my heart sank, not because I felt pain, but because I felt ignorant. "How can that be?" I asked. "I walk every day. I eat fairly well. I feel okay." He nodded, calm, reassuring. "That's exactly why this is dangerous," he said. And then he explained something I wish I had known years earlier. He pointed to the top number. "This is your systolic pressure," he said. "It measures how hard your heart works every time it beats." Then he pointed to the bottom number. "This one measures pressure when your heart rests." He paused. "As we age, our arteries stiffen. That means the pressure during each heartbeat matters more, even if the resting number looks normal." I felt a knot in my chest, because suddenly my good blood pressure didn't feel so good anymore. He explained that after 60, many people develop something called isolated systolic hypertension. It sounds complicated, but the idea is simple. Your top number creeps up, your bottom number stays normal, and because you feel okay, you ignore it. That's when strokes happen. That's when heart damage quietly begins. No warning, no pain, just time doing what time does. I asked the question everyone asks. If this is so dangerous, why didn't I feel anything? My doctor looked at me and said something I'll never forget. High blood pressure doesn't announce itself. It whispers and waits. That sentence stayed with me because it explained why so many smart, active, independent seniors are caught off guard. We're taught to listen to pain, to fatigue, to symptoms, but blood pressure doesn't play by those rules. He told me most strokes he sees don't come from people who feel unwell. They come from people who felt fine. Then he asked me another important question. "How do you check your blood pressure at home?" I told him the truth, whenever I remembered, sometimes after walking, sometimes standing, sometimes rushing. He shook his head gently. "That number only tells the truth when you treat it with respect." He showed me how to measure it properly. Sit quietly, feet flat on the floor, back supported, no talking, no rushing. Morning is best, same time every day, because consistency, he said, reveals patterns, not panic. Then he looked at me and smiled for the first time that day. "The good news is," he said, "that you caught this before it caught you." That was the moment fear turned into clarity, because this wasn't a death sentence, it was a warning, and warnings are gifts if you listen. Before I left, he said one last thing. Don't chase perfection, chase awareness. Those words matter, especially after 60. You don't need extreme workouts. You don't need scary diets. You need to understand what your body is telling you. And for many seniors, the most important message is hidden in that top number. So, if you've been told your blood pressure is okay, if you've been focusing only on the bottom number, if you feel fine and assume you're safe, please hear this. The top number matters more than you think. In the next video, I'll explain why this number becomes more dangerous after 60 and what simple changes actually help lower it safely and naturally. If you want to protect your heart, your brain, and your independence, stay with me. That night, I couldn't sleep. Not because I felt pain, not because I felt sick, but because my doctor's words kept echoing in my head. It's the top number that worries me. I lay there staring at the ceiling, thinking about all the times I'd checked my blood pressure and all the times I'd walked away feeling relieved because the bottom number looked fine. And suddenly I realized something unsettling. What if fine wasn't safe anymore? The next morning, I did what most people over 60 do when something doesn't sit right. I started searching, reading, trying to understand what was really happening inside my body. And that's when everything began to make sense. My doctor was right, and not just for me. As we age, our blood vessels change. When we're young, arteries are flexible. They expand easily with each heartbeat. But after 60, they stiffen. Not because you did something wrong, not because you failed. It's biology. It's time. And when arteries stiffen, your heart has to push harder to move blood forward. That pressure, the force of each heartbeat, is exactly what the top number measures. That's why systolic pressure slowly climbs with age, even in people who walk, eat decently, and feel healthy. My doctor explained it to me with a simple image. Imagine watering your garden, he said. A brand new hose expands easily. An old, sun-damaged hose doesn't. The water pressure feels stronger, not because the water changed, but because the hose did. Your arteries are the same. And here's the dangerous part. You can feel perfectly fine while that pressure quietly damages your body. The brain, the heart, the kidneys. That's why doctors worry more about the top number in older adults, because it predicts strokes better than almost anything else. I remember asking him something that surprised even me. So why don't we talk about this more? He sighed. Because people don't like hearing about something they can't feel. And he was right. We respond to pain, to shortness of breath, to obvious warning signs. But high systolic blood pressure doesn't shout, it waits. Then I asked about medication, because that's the next thought most seniors have. Will pills fix this? His answer was honest. Medication helps, but it's not the whole solution. He explained that many people take blood pressure medicine and assume the job is done, but lifestyle still matters, especially for systolic pressure. Stress, poor sleep, too much sodium, too little movement. All of these quietly push that top number higher. And here's something important, he told me. You don't need intense exercise to lower systolic pressure. That was a relief, because at this stage of life, joints ache, balance isn't what it used to be, and pushing too hard often backfires. What helps most, he said, is gentle consistency. Daily movement that doesn't spike stress hormones. Walking at a comfortable pace, light stretching, chair-based movement. Nothing extreme, nothing painful. Then he taught me something that surprised me even more. Breathing. Not meditation, not complicated techniques, just slow, controlled breathing that calms the nervous system. When your body feels safe, he said, your blood pressure follows. And that made sense, because stress tightens blood vessels. Calm relaxes them. He also warned me about sodium, not in a dramatic way. No need to eliminate salt completely, he said, but be aware of hidden sodium. Bread, soups, sauces, processed foods that don't even taste salty. Small changes there can drop systolic pressure more than people realize. As he spoke, something shifted in me. This wasn't about fear anymore. It was about understanding. Understanding that after 60, the rules change slightly. Not worse, just different. You don't chase extremes, you chase balance. You don't punish your body, you support it. And most importantly, you stop ignoring the number that matters most. That night, I checked my blood pressure again, calmly, seated, relaxed. For the first time, I wasn't just looking at numbers, I was reading a message. And the message was clear. This is manageable. This is preventable. This is not too late. In the final video, I'll share exactly what my doctor told me to start doing the very next day. A simple daily routine designed specifically for people over 60. No extremes, no fear. Just smart, safe steps to protect your heart, your brain, and your independence. If you're still watching, you're already doing the most important thing. You're paying attention. And that alone can change the future. The follow-up appointment felt different. I walked into my doctor's office calmer than before, not because the numbers had magically changed, but because I finally understood them. Fear had been replaced with something better: control. My doctor looked at my new readings, taken properly this time, seated, relaxed, same time each morning. He nodded. "Good," he said. "You're paying attention now." And then he told me something every senior needs to hear. "We're not trying to make you perfect, we're trying to protect you." That sentence changed everything. Because too many people over 60 believe managing blood pressure means suffering, strict diets, exhausting workouts, complicated routines. My doctor shook his head. "That's not how we win this." He explained that the goal after 60 isn't to force the body into submission, it's to work with it. He gave me a simple daily plan, not a medical lecture, not a list of unrealistic rules, just habits, safe, sustainable, effective. The first thing surprised me. "Move every day," he said, "but never punish your joints." He explained that systolic pressure responds best to gentle, rhythmic movement, not intensity. Walking at a pace where you can still talk, chair exercises for days when balance feels off, light stretching to keep blood vessels responsive. 10 minutes done consistently, he said, beats one hard workout you regret. That mattered to me, because at this stage of life, injuries don't bounce back the way they used to. The second thing he emphasized was something I'd underestimated for years: breathing. Not deep breathing classes, not meditation apps, just slowing the breath down, especially during stress. Inhale through your nose, he said. Exhale longer than you inhale. Why? Because long exhales tell your nervous system something powerful: you're safe. And when your nervous system calms down, blood vessels relax. That lowers the top number naturally. He told me to practice it while watching TV, before bed, anytime worry creeps in. It felt almost too simple, but medicine often is. The third habit was about sleep. Poor sleep raises systolic pressure, he said, even if everything else is right. He encouraged consistency. Same bedtime, dark room, no late-night news. Because fear and stress don't rest, and neither does blood pressure when they're present. Then we talked about food, and for the first time, it didn't feel like a lecture. No extremes, he said. No guilt, just awareness. Hidden sodium was the enemy, not the salt shaker. Bread, soups, packaged meals. Read labels, he said. You'll be shocked. He told me reducing sodium just slightly could lower systolic pressure more than people expect. Not overnight, but steadily. Finally, he talked about consistency. This is where most people fail, he said. They start strong, then life interrupts. Appointments, family stress, fatigue. So they quit. He leaned forward. Don't quit. Adjust. Chair movement instead of walking. Breathing instead of exercise on bad days. Rest without guilt. Because managing blood pressure after 60 is not about discipline, it's about adaptation. Before he left, he reminded me of something important. Numbers guide us, he said, but they don't define you. That mattered more than he knew, because fear makes people avoid the very thing that could save them, and knowledge gives them power. Weeks later, I returned. Same office, same cuff, but this time the numbers told a different story. Not dramatic, not perfect, but better. And my doctor smiled. That's how this works, he said. Slow progress, real protection. That's when it truly sank in. This wasn't about avoiding death. It was about protecting life, clear thinking, steady balance, time with family, independence. That's what managing the top blood pressure number really protects. So if you're over 60, if you've been told your blood pressure is fine, if you feel okay and assume nothing is wrong, please remember this. The most dangerous problems are often the quiet ones, and the most powerful solutions are often the simplest. Pay attention to the top number. Treat your body with respect. Choose consistency over extremes. And if this series helped you understand your health a little better, consider sharing it with someone you care about. Because one conversation, one number, and one small change can protect a lifetime. Take care of your heart. It's still carrying you forward.